Hello friends and welcome to a new knitty video. My name is Céline and it's super chilly outside. I've got tea in hand, super scorching hot tea in my hand. So that can only mean one thing. It's time to share my winter knit picks. Before I say anything else, I thought I would address the elephant in the room, which is my sweater. This is the Fab sweater by Clara Eggers. This was the one and only time I've used We Are Knitters actually. I think this is their The Wool base. The pink and rainbow color is called Yarnicorn, the white is called Natural, and it's super chunky and stunning. This is a sweater that I never really wear, unfortunately, just because it's so bulky and kind of inconvenient. In no universe will this ever fit under a coat. Also, I feel like if you suddenly get too hot and you're not home, you're gonna have to take this off and then hold this massive brick of wool. It's just not the most convenient. But at home, I feel like it's kind of cozy. It's all made in brioche stitch, which in itself is a super bulky stitch, so you can imagine how heavy this fabric is. Brioche in a super bulky weight, crazy stuff. Anyways, that's what I'm wearing. Now you guys know that I love my knit picks video. I love just sitting down and finding so much inspiration for the season to come. I read something so amazing on Instagram. Let me read it out for you because I think it really encompasses the philosophy of my knit picks video. It's just so stunning. Reminder, your to be knit list isn't a to-do list. It's more of a menu. So you can pick whatever feeds your soul. And this is exactly what I like to do with my knit picks video. I just like to show you some really fun patterns that feed my knitting soul and just makes me super excited about the possibilities that come with knitting. I must say that this time around, we've got a really cute collection. I'm very excited to share it with you. Let's start with a boom. The Polar Coat by Nash Knits. First of all, I had never seen this pattern before. Second, and most importantly, I don't see this category of garment in the hand knit world enough. Why are we not knitting our coats? What's so cool about sweaters when you can make a coat with a collar and cute buttons and cute cuffs like these? You best believe by next winter, I will have a hand knit coat. Also, this is literally the type of coat that I love wearing. If you guys watch some of my vlogs, you may know that I'm obsessed with the coat that I got in Paris from Suzanne, the blue one, which is a wool coat, and it looks kind of similar to this one. It had never occurred to me before that I could recreate my favorite coat just by knitting it. And I guess that's just because the fabric of the wool coat that you can purchase doesn't look like knitting. There's no, knit stitch, but actually you can knit a fabric that looks pretty much exactly like it if you just use a yarn that doesn't have any stitch definition, something like boucle, which is what Nash Knits used in this pattern. She holds two strands of Aran weight yarn together. One is drops Nepal and the other is drops alpaca boucle to obtain a super bulky gauge of 14 stitches and 20 rows. I believe she uses a 5.5mm needle, which means that the fabric will turn out super, super dense and structured, which is what you want for a coat. First of all, you want it to be as windproof as possible. That I think is what differentiates a coat or a jacket from a cardigan, from just a knitted cardigan. I would definitely recommend lining this coat, and then the other element that will set this apart as a jacket slash coat from a cardigan is the structure. Most of the time a coat is not as floppy, as drapey, right? So the density of the fabric will provide that structure that you're looking for. The construction of the polar coat looks pretty simple, knitted top down, starting with the back yoke, which is worked back and forth, and then the stitches are picked up across the shoulders to form the front yoke, then the rest of the body is worked back and forth till it's finished. Standard drop shoulder construction pretty much. The collar is for sure the statement piece here. Stitches for it are picked up, worked back and forth while shaping with short rows, which is really fun. I bet that part is the most fun of the jacket. And finally, an applied I-cord is worked across the front edges and the collar edge. Guys, this is 14 stitches. I reckon you can turn it over super, super fast. Nash Knits, you're an actual genius. Speaking of geniuses, Aegyo Knit Queen, how did you even come up with the Uma sweater? This is giving Anne Hathaway in Devil Wears Prada or, Princess Mia off duty. Probably one of the chicest sweaters I've ever seen. The star of the show is the characteristic crisscross effect that creates an opening at the front of the sweater. On top of that, it has some subdued details that make this an exquisite design. Mainly, I'm talking about the 2x2 rib that waterfalls from the neckline all the way down to the sleeves and at the sides. My heart skipped a beat. And I think the fit is immaculate. It's so chic and elegant and effortless and cozy. It's also timeless. Like anyone could wear it. As I said, a princess or an actress or Victoria Beckham would totally wear this. A queen would wear this, and we're all queens here. So it's just the pattern for us. 16 stitch gauge, worsted weight. Hello. That sounds so scrumptious and appealing. Sounds like a fun time. This one's also worked top down, beginning with the ribbing on the collar. You then separate for shoulders and pick up stitches for the inner front. That are all worked separately until after the armholes were joined again. I didn't understand anything. In fact, she categorizes this pattern as difficult, but I wouldn't be too scared because at the end of the day, it's stockinette stitch. So you have the total freedom to really focus on the construction. You don't have to worry about, you know, lace work and cables and eyelets or anything. So I think this would be a really engaging knit. She uses Lang Yarn's Yak, and yak yarn is amazing. Stunning, stunning, and I love it in brown. You guys know that I love me some brown. Let's do this one next. I am gonna knit this, okay? I will knit this. I don't know when, but I have to knit this. The Honey Bear and Friends scarf. Oh my goodness. So this gal called Katharina, she only releases these double knitted colorwork beautiful scarves. She has 25 patterns and they're all different designs of these double knitted scarves. But this one has to be my favorite. It's inspired by Winnie the Pooh. It's got all the characters, foliage on the borders. It's so cute and magical. Most of her other ones I would also knit, but they're more on the graphic side. This one's more on the fairy tale Disney princess aesthetic. The thing about these double knitted scarves is that they're reversible. They essentially have two right sides. Depending on the day, depending on what you're wearing, you can decide what side you wear it on, and the colors are flipped, which is super fun. I think I would make this in a cream and a medium toned blue, sort of like the porcelain sweater color combination, that vibe. The other thing I love about double knitting is that it's nice and warm because it's 2 layers of fabric stacked on top of each other. So this would also provide warmth, which is what I need in a scarf, right? You want it to be cute, but you also wanted to do something. I wish I could have had this when I was younger. It would have been my favorite scarf, but I'm gonna make it for myself now as an adult eventually to satisfy that childhood wish. I think I owe it to myself, okay? Margot's joined.
Hey.
I'm just doing my winter knits. What do you like about winter?
Oh, my birthday.
True. What are you doing this year for your birthday?
Work. It's on a Wednesday.
I'll take you out.
You know what I want? I want to go to eat a lot of pizza.
I'll have pizza any day of the week, even on Wednesdays.
What do I like about winter? When it's warm inside, drink a very nice coffee, hot chocolate.
Jinx. Do you like Christmas?
Um,
Black Friday?
Oh, actually, I've already bought something. People who know me will say Margot consists 50% of yogurt, 50% of mangoes.
Margot is basically a walking mango yogurt.
Mango yogurt. Yeah, so I bought my drink yogurts, heavy drinking yogurts, so it's like a proper meal. Very exciting.
I was thinking I should get a dehumidifier for Black Friday.
Oh, dear Lord. Whenever we need to do a wash, and girls need to wash.
Oh my gosh, it takes like 6 days.
Yeah, to dry.
Do you need to wash? Should I take my stuff out the rack?
No, it's fine.
She needs to wash.
No.
That's a yes, I need to wash, get your stuff off the rack. I'll leave you to your work. Thank you so much for doing a little cameo in my video.
It was a pleasure. Always.
Catch you later. I guess since we're talking about Black Friday, it's actually a really good time to talk to you guys a little bit about Foreo, which is a brand that I've been working with for a good chunk of this year. I feel like since March, Foreo currently has really good Black Friday deals going on, which can get you up to 50% off. They are a skincare brand from Sweden, and I've been using their LED devices, as I said, since March, and my skin has been really loving them. I also love to work with them on my videos. They're really lovely people. So yeah, I have been using specifically my FAQ 202. More recently, I've been using it in conjunction with the FAQ Red Light Peptide Serum to sort of enhance the LED light and hydration. I put this on and then my mask over it. This one's made in a really unique flexi fit silicone that molds to any face. The mask is very lightweight and you're also not tied to the wall through a cable. I can just walk around and do whatever I need to do. It emits 8 different wavelengths, including NIR, to tackle all sorts of skin concerns. I had really bad painful, throbbing, hormonal, cystic acne for 10 years of my life, and my skin barrier never really recovered from that. But now with LED light treatment, my skin is finally starting to gain glow back. When I go back home to Italy to visit my family, I always bring it with me because my mum loves it. We just have some fun mother-daughter LED light therapy bonding time together, because it's clinically proven that LED light helps with just general boost of collagen production. It helps with dullness and all things like that. So it's a very fun time for my mum and I. If you'd like, you can browse through Foreo's Black Friday deals at the link in my description box. You can use my code by Céline35 for an additional 35% off on almost all Foreo products, even the ones that are already on sale, meaning that you can get up to 50% off on your Foreo goodies. So I hope that I can head into 2026 with my skin looking the most radiant it's ever been. You know what would also help with radiance? A good knit scrunchie that looks like a flower, like the Hana scrunchie. I loved it so much when I saw it. This is a pattern by Milena Juhola. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Probably not. You would become a walking flower with this in your hair. It's a really sweet one, and also perfect, fabulously incredible for stash busting, because you only need leftover yarn. I think the designer uses some sort of polyfill, yeah, polyester filling, but what I would do to take the stash busting even further, I would cut up little bits of my leftover yarn and use that to stuff this little scrunchie to give it the plush pillow look that it's got that makes it so cute. I had not seen a scrunchie like this before. It is so East London, by the way. If you set up a little market stall with all of these scrunchies in like Broadway Market, you would be sold out in 2 minutes. Let's look at the workflow. The Hana scrunchie is worked one petal at a time. When the petals are all worked about halfway, they will be joined together and the rest of the scrunchie is worked in one piece. Very fun. All parts are worked in the round using the magic loop technique. I would go for DPNs. An elastic band is placed inside to give the scrunchie its final shape and elasticity. By the way, this scrunchie can't be twisted in on itself, so, well, it can, but it just be at the cost of the flower shape. So the designer recommends that you just put your hair up however you like to put your hair up, and then put the scrunchie over as a decoration, if that makes sense. And it is adorable, and I will definitely be doing this at some point with all my scraps. Like, this is an absolute no-brainer. I bet you can work it pretty quickly, maybe in a sitting, I don't know. I love that they're squishy. I'm obsessed. I don't think there's anything more wintry than fleece, okay? Like, that's what you show up on the slopes with a fleece thingy. Did you know that you can knit yourself a fleece? I had never thought of that. I found the Patagonia Peaks pattern by Maya Tinks, and it's so cute and funky. I mean, especially the colors that she uses for her sample. They're so bright and 80s, you know, that typical kind of hot pink and purple in that petroleum green. I feel like that's such a staple 80s colorway. I think she has encompassed the legendary Patagonia, the brand Patagonia fleece look perfectly. She does this on purpose. She says, the Patagonia Peaks is the knitted fleece of your dreams, inspired by the legendary garments by famous brand named after the same mountains. It's got the iconic quarter zip opening, high collar, and a chest pocket. It just makes this piece an instant wardrobe staple that can be worn to hike up a summit just as well as to a stroll through a city when it's really cold. My camera definitely doesn't feel the cold because it's overheating. Girl, why are you overheating? We gotta give her a break, I guess. I'm gonna go eat some dates, okay? She's cooled down. Of course, the thing that gives this design that cozy and spongy look is the choice of boucle yarn. Let's see which one she uses. Knit Picks Bubbly Bouquet, but holds 2 strands together to create an Aran weight version. It says it's jam-packed with interesting and lesser-known knitting techniques, which is such a treat, especially if you've been knitting for a while and you want something a little bit different. I mean, this is already pretty fun because it's got the color work, the colorful triangles, aka the mountain peaks, but there's even more fun stuff beyond the color work. There is reversed ziggurat method for the yoke. I've never heard of her. That sounds super intriguing. I mean, it even has a pocket. Like, how good is that? I've never worked a pocket on my knitwear and I must do that soon. I love that the yoke is in garter stitch. It creates a little bit of a different texture compared to the stockinette used for the color work. She thought of everything. She lines the pocket. There are pressure fasteners for the front opening and the pocket. The high collar is double layered. Girl, you will not be cold in this. I love humans. Humans create beautiful things. The next pattern I've been super excited to include in one of my knit picks videos since the summer, because that's when my friend Claire showed me the river mitts by Light from Lantern. First of all, stash buster, hello. Second, they are so funky. I love them so much. I can't believe this pattern was posted in March 2015 and 2025, 10 years later, that's when I find them. That's trash, right? Because these are amazing. They are these layered fingerless mittens. It looks like you're wearing two pairs at the same time, but you're actually not. I love that one of the hands is sort of bordered with a hot pink. Bring on the funk. You know what I'm saying? I'm just obsessed with these. I'm obsessed with these. I'm obsessed with the length, the 2x2 rib, the layered look. They're amazing. And they go up a little bit higher, I think, than the average fingerless mitten. So they do provide a little bit more warmth, I believe, and still keeps the mobility and the dexterity in the fingers because they're obviously exposed. They would also be a fabulous fashion piece. It just would add some incredible interest to your outfit. There are two sizes. You need anywhere between 183 to 274 meters. That's literally nothing. It says river mitts are great for those knitters who prefer mitts without gussets, because that's the fun thing about these, is that the thumb hole is given by the overlap of the first mitt with the second one that's on the palm. It's just such a clever construction for a glove. I'm very impressed. They look really good in one color as well if the blocky multiple color is not your thing, if you want to keep things more subdued, or if you want to use up one single skein of yarn. You do only need 274 meters, which is just a little over half a skein of a hand-dyed yarn, for example. The gauge is 25 stitches, in case you're wondering. This is totally something Rory from Gilmore Girls would wear, by the way. They would just make me so happy wearing them. They would turn some heads on the tube, especially if I made them in some crazy color. I'm definitely gonna put some hot pink in there because I love hot pink. I'm in the mood for another accessory. Let's look at the Dolly bag by Mochi Knits. This is so cute. I feel like boucle is a pretty consistent theme throughout this video, but I can't help it if it just looks so cute. I don't think I've ever knit in boucle. I do have a boucle project that I'm due to cast on at some point. I want to make the petite knit teddy clutch, and I've got the boucle for it as well. I've got the Teddy Dare by Gepard. But yeah, other than that, oh yeah, no, I have made a boucle thing. I've made beanie number 6 by My Favorite Thing. So it's got the boucle brim, which is so cute and wintry and cozy. And the Dolly bag is similarly wintry and cozy. I'm a huge fan of small bags, especially in the winter because I'm wearing such big coats. It's very overstimulating to also be carrying a humongous bag. So whenever I can, I do opt for the small bag. And this is perfect. It's super, super small, crossbody, kind of phone-sized bag. I don't usually put my phone in my bag because I have it on a lanyard and I just strap it onto my body, and that's just what I feel the safest walking in around London. And that leaves me with extra space in the bag. So in my Dolly bag, I would put my lip balm, my lipstick, my keys, my cards, some tissues. What else do I need to bring with me? Some compede, because we're walking around. You never know when you need a compede. It would hold my essentials. It's super comfortable because it's crossbody and I don't have to worry about it sliding off my shoulder. That's the worst thing ever in the winter. Oh my God. You're wearing this huge coat and your tote bag keeps on slipping down. But that wouldn't happen with a Dolly bag. Oh, actually, she doesn't only use boucle. She also holds Gepard Teddy Dare with Gepard Puff. Obtains a super bulky gauge of 10 stitches in stockinette stitch on 4.5mm needles. So that's also really dense, provide the structure that's then reinforced with the inner lining, so you don't have to worry about this like being stretched or drooped out by the contents of the bag. So I appreciate that she thought of the engineering behind it, because that's definitely a major worry I have when I knit a bag. Will it stretch? Will it not be able to hold the stuff I put in it? But here I've got the tight gauge, super bulky yarn worked on a small needle. You've got the lining, you'll be grand. Also, the straps are not knitted. They're, you know, a separate handle. Hers looks like a leather cord or something. It's adorable. Great gift knit. Oh my goodness, if you're looking for a last minute gift knit, you would probably work this up in 2 hours. That's so good, isn't it? Now back to a bigger garment. If you guys know, I'm really good friends with Stefania, also known as the Knitting Shura on Instagram and on Ravelry. She's also a designer, and she is the incredible woman that got me into knitting in the first place, taught me how to read my first pattern. I'm basically her adopted knitting child, so we love each other very much, and she happens to be so good at knitting and such a good designer. And she has recently come out with the Hana sweater, which is this very elegant, all over cable, circular yoke, top-down sweater. I particularly love two aspects of this. The first is how the cables fit within each other and how they're sort of locked into each other and puzzled together. As you can see, they're alternated. So if the cable rounds on one cable are here and here, the cable next to it will have cable rounds here and here, you know? So they interlock so beautifully. It's got this incredible flow, and the way the increases are put in invisibly makes it so that they grow so nicely across the yoke to reach a wider thickness on the body. It's just so seamless. And then the other thing that I really like is the type of cable, just what the cable looks like. It looks like a braid. It's so elegant, just like Stefania. She is so chic, you guys. She is literally an angel fallen on earth, and this pattern proves that. If I had to pick one word to describe the knitting and the aesthetic of the designer Augustin's, it would be winter. Her knitting soul is so winter coated in my opinion, and she just came out this month with her Northern Augustine's number 9 colorwork sweater. This one is colorwork central, and the reason I was drawn to it is because it's a different spin on your typical colorwork jumper. Most of them, especially the circular yoke ones, have colorwork on the yoke, and then the rest of the body and the bottom of the sleeves is in solid color. But this is flipped, switched. So the solid section is at the neckline, which is very original, and I hadn't seen it before. It is almost an all-over colorwork sweater, but I really appreciate the solid shade situation up here because the colorwork she uses is very intricate, small little details. So the cream, in this instance, really balances things out, and it just makes it super pretty and flowy to the eye. It's so cutesy. There are hearts and bows. We've got little figures holding hands. It's so sweet. Of course, in the cream and the red, it's super Christmassy, but think of it with cream and navy. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. One thing I do know about circular yokes, though, is that sometimes, for some reason, the sleeves can turn out a little bit too tight-fitting compared to the rest of the body of the sweater. In this case, the positive ease is 20 centimeters, but by the looks of it in the photos, it looks like there is room in the sleeves and it's not just super tight and everything's nice and even, and it just doesn't look like the sleeves belong to a separate sweater, you know? I mean, you should check out all of Augustine's patterns. She's got so much wintry looking stuff. And if you're not into busy color work like the one on this sweater, you can check out the Northern Augustine's number 4. It also has the bows. It's a similar vibe and aesthetic for sure, but it's way, way calmer in design. And more traditionally here, the color work extends over the yoke alone. So yeah, she's a great designer for this time of year. I wouldn't be surprised if her favorite season is in fact winter. You know who else's favorite season is winter? Mr. Snowman. This is not a garment, but I had to put it in this video because it's so adorable. Okay, Susan B. Anderson made this snowman pattern. It's the sweetest thing I've ever seen. Oh my gosh, I can't get over it. They've got a beanie with a little pom-pom, a scarf, the buttons, the little nose and the eyes, and the little twigs for the arms. Another beautiful stash busting project. This is perfect. I'm sure you can work this up really quickly and it would be the sweetest little decoration or thank you gift. If maybe you're invited at someone's place for dinner or lunch, you can bring a little snowman. If you want to stash bust even further, you can make clothes for your snowman. And it's really easy because the twigs are just stuck in, so you don't really have to think about arms. Just saying. I got the snowman out the way. Now let's talk about something completely on the other end of the spectrum. It's very different. Let's talk about knitted dresses. A knitted winter dress is probably most knitters' knitting dream. I don't know, let me know, like, what's your knitting dream? If you didn't have a budget, if you had unlimited time, what would you knit? For me, it would be a dress down to the floor. One that is a dream, but that's more attainable than a dream, is Lunch at Tiffany's Dress by Anne Catherine Knits. And the fact that you can create something so beautiful and tailored with your own hands, just using 2 sticks and some fiber. That's crazy, right? So that's just your daily reminder as a knitter. Sometimes we don't think about that. We sort of maybe take it for granted, but this is crazy that we can make these things. We are so lucky. I am so grateful that I learned how to knit, because it's a privilege to be able to make these things. But yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous. As I said, very well tailored, hugs the body beautifully. There is some incredible shaping at the bust, at the hips. Look how beautifully that ribbing comes in and out from the waist down along the hips, waterfalling across to the slit. Stunning. Even on the bust, it's so pretty, it's decorative, it's subdued, it's chic, it's elegant, it's just everything I want. I'm pretty sure the whole body is in 2x2 rib, and then just under the bust at the waist to create a nice cinch, the ribbing goes to 1x1 ribbing. The deep V-neck is incredibly feminine. I love how the sleeves fit. It just looks so gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I'm also reading that this pattern offers the possibility to decide between 3 sleeve solutions: long sleeve, which is what's pictured, short sleeve, and sleeveless solution. I'm also pleased to see how the designer addresses sizing. The fit can be adjusted individually by cross sizing, and there's a size guide that you can refer to be able to do that. It's apparently facilitated how you can tweak the different sections to perfectly fit your body. Yarn weight is DK. She holds 2 strands of fingering weight together. It's really beautiful. It looks store-bought, very impressive. I adore all of the design choices. I think it serves, for example, the model in the photo, it serves her body beautifully. She looks so pretty. She looks like a goddess. I'm obsessed with it. I think I need to start switching my mood lights on because it's getting dark, especially this side. Please hold. Hopefully this lighting isn't too funky. But the next pattern is so quintessentially wintry. What winter would it be without a hot water bottle? I sometimes make 2, 3 at a time. I'll have one on my tummy, on my feet, and the other one on my knees. In Italian, we say there's no 2 without a 3. Non c'è due senza tre. 3 is the magic number. But I found a Cozy Cable hot water bottle cover by Helen Woodward. I picked it because it's literally Rory from Gilmore Girls' iconic cable sweater that she wears in the pilot, with the big diamond cable and the moss stitch in the middle of it. This is that sweater on a hot water bottle cover. And since we're all obsessed with Gilmore Girls, this was a must for me to include in my winter knit picks this year. And yeah, I pretty much already described it. It's got the iconic diamond cable. This one's also super fast because it's 14 stitch gauge with bulky weight yarn. You can probably make this in a day. This is the perfect gift knit, or this is the perfect break from gift knits. It's very sweet. The designer embellished it with a little bow, which I would do as well, for sure. Adds to the cuteness. The pattern is free, which is really lovely. The cover is knitted as front and back and then seamed, so you knit the 2 panels separately. An eyelet row provides a way for ribbon to be threaded through to form a drawstring closure. So actually, it's not just an embellishment, it has a functional purpose, the bow. So that's cute. And if you didn't want the bow, it's probably very simple to just not knit the eyelets so that you don't have to put the ribbon. And honestly, with knitwear, you can always thread it through in between the stitches, even if you don't have eyelets for it. If it's like a second thought, you're like, okay, I don't want a ribbon, I won't do the eyelets. And then the year later, you're like, you know what? I really want a ribbon. You can just weave it through. It would be stunning to have a matching pillow. If you have the Rory Gilmore sweater, you gotta wear that while you have this on you, you know? If there's anything I need right now, like I don't need any sweaters, I don't need more gloves, maybe I need more scarves. That's one thing that I really find myself needing and I don't have. The other thing I need desperately is a hot water bottle cover, because this girl puts the hot water bottle straight from like the rubber, you know, and it's scorching. So I really need a hot water bottle cover. I just need to knit 3. I also wanted to share the Dolan coat by Tyler Harris. This is quite similar concept to the polar coat that I showed you in the beginning, but the option here is to make it long down to the knees. I believe the pattern also comes with the option of doing it short. The main thing that's different about this coat compared to the polar coats that I showed you in the beginning is the shape of the collar. So this one has 2 spikes and the other one has one big one, right? Yeah, it's just different stuff going on at the front here. This one's also worked on 14 stitch gauge, 20 rows in stockinette stitch. There are 10 available sizes, which is really good and size inclusive. She also uses a textured yarn to push you away from the knitted stitch look and get closer to kind of a woolen fabric, coat fabric. I don't know if in this case it's just straight up boucle or if it's a different style of textured yarn, but it's definitely not just plain merino, you know, it's worked funkily. It's worked top down, starting with a double knit collar, so extra warmth, extra fabric. I love that. Shoulders are shaped with increases and the neckline is shaped using short rows. The back and fronts are worked separately to underarms, then joined and worked in one piece to bottom hem. So yeah, thought I'd show you that coat option as well. And since we're on the topic of jackets and coats, let's look at another option. Wool and Beyond has her Nomad jacket, which is a dream in honeycomb brioche. I'm not the biggest fan of brioche, okay? I will blame this garment for that. I've done honeycomb brioche stitch for my petite knit honey bucket bag, and the fabric is insane. And this is a whole jacket in that. So it's fully honeycomb brioche, provides the thickness, okay? Honeycomb brioche is so thick and chunky, so it gives you that structure, that density that you are looking for in a jacket. And then she popped these little stockinette pockets over it, which makes it so adorable. It's so, so cute. But I also love that it's got a rounded edge at the bottom, sweetens and softens the whole look up. It's also really cool how the back panel at the top of the shoulders, just stockinette that goes horizontal rather than vertical. First you make the double knitted yoke. What? Hold on, is the back stockinette thing that I was talking about double knitting? I think it is, to match the thickness of the honeycomb brioche stitch everywhere else. So that composes the back yoke, and from there, the rest of the jacket is knitted. Finally, you make the side seams, the pockets, and the outer edge in I-cord. This sounds like a really fun, engaging knit, very different construction than what I'm used to. If you're up for a challenge, honeycomb brioche stitch is complicated, but it is so worth it. Other than boucle, I feel like the other common theme throughout this video has been creating things out of knitting that you wouldn't usually knit, that you wouldn't expect you'd be able to recreate with knitting. We've got coats, we've got the fleece, and now we've got the Besties hoodie. This is a design by Tin Can Knits, and I thought a hoodie would be such a good winter knit to try. And this one's so cute. This has got everything that you want in a hoodie. It's got the hood, of course, it's got the drawstrings, it's got the front pocket, absolutely essential. The hood tapers so nicely. It's such a pretty shape. They did that beautifully. A hood is also something that I've never worked attached to the main thing, right? Of course, I've done hoods that are separate and you just tie it at your neck, but having the hood embedded within the knit, that's another level of amazingness. It's definitely up there in my knitting bucket list alongside the pockets and the maxi dress that goes down to the floor. We've got a hoodie. I think they provide instructions for all yarn weights. If you want to make the hoodie in iron weight or worsted or heavy DK or light DK, wow, not even just DK, light and heavy DK separately, sport and sock weight. I mean, I don't have the pattern, so I can't double check this, but I believe that's what it means. That's crazy. That's something I don't think I've ever seen on a pattern for a garment. Maybe for accessories that you can like adapt it to different yarn weights, but a whole hoodie? If that's the case, that's very impressive. I also love that the sizes available go literally from newborn to 6 extra large, to a men's 6 extra large. What did we do to deserve this pattern? This is too good. I really recommend you scroll through the Ravelry projects page of this pattern because there are so many cute iterations. I'm very impressed that you can make this in different yarn weights. Thank you, Tin Can Knits, for offering such an incredibly various pattern. This must have been so much work. Now let's look at the last pattern because it's getting very dark. In typical winter fashion, the sun's gone by 4 p.m. I feel like every one of my knit picks videos needs a stone knits sock in there. My pick this time is the Gnome Place Like Home. I mean, you have to appreciate that even just the name of the sock is so fabulous. Gnome Place Like Home, quite self-explanatory. This is a sock full of tiny gnomes, which is one of my favorite winter / Christmas decorations, is those gnomes with the big nose. Even the sole has gnomes on it. You might want to know that while working the gnomes' faces, there are free rounds using 3 colors. I've never done color work using 3 colors, only 2, but this could be a first-time project to test that skill out. But she does say that this can be achieved by using 3-color work knitting, or with duplicate stitch. If you're really set on the fact that you don't want to do a 3-color thing, you can always add the 3rd color later on after you've completed the sock. The socks start with a ribbed cuff and feature a short furrow heel. I just realized something that I hadn't realized. Okay, I thought this pattern was amazing, but I didn't know it could get even better. One of these samples has bobble stitching to make the big nose. You don't have to do it, but you can do it. And you can also just do it maybe for the top row of gnomes, the one that you know isn't gonna hit your shoe or anything, isn't gonna get in the way. But the fact that you can do that, that is absolute gold and makes these socks even better than I thought they were to begin with. I'm sorry, but that's the best thing I've ever heard. And I'm so happy that I'm ending the video on this pattern because wow, that's just like a shabam. And friends, I think that's a wrap for this year's winter knit picks. I had so much fun going through all of these. I genuinely am obsessed with every single pattern. And please, I always encourage even more inspiration. Let me know what's currently on your needles, what you're planning to make, what gift knitting you've got ahead of you, any other super original winter pattern that you've got your eye on, any boucle yarn suggestion, because of course there are so many boucle yarn patterns in here. We gotta figure out which one's the best, which one's the nicest, which one's the one that you've been enjoying the most. I'm really looking forward to reading your comments. I'm very excited to learn about new designs that I can obsess over. And with that, I think I'm gonna leave you to your day. It's Sunday today. My brother is about to come over. We're gonna have dinner. We're gonna watch Game of Wool because it's Sunday today. Let me know if you've been watching Game of Wool as well. What are your thoughts? As always, I've had a blast sitting down and chatting about knitting. I thank you so much for sticking till the end of this video. I will leave my Instagram on screen in case you'd like to follow my creations more in real time and hang out on there and see what I'm up to on the daily. I will say bye for now, and I hope to see you in my next video.